Female reproductive hormones like estrogen and progesterone increase and then decline depending on your age. They're also produced in response to what the body's dealing with at that time. The systems of your body are connected. So when your body is stressed, it funnels energy away from the reproductive organs quite purposefully and towards the organs of fight or flight. Now, if this happens too often during your menstruating years, it's going to lead to symptoms like of PMS or changes in your menstrual cycle, oftentimes too heavy, although sometimes periods will flat out stop. It can also promote the development of ovarian cysts, fibroids, endometriosis, even infertility. This connection is especially important, though, as women age. If your system is already out of balance because of chronic stress over time and the adrenal fatigue, then that shift in and around perimenopause, it doesn't feel like a gentle transition. It feels like everything hits all at once. Mood changes, sleep disruption, anxiety, hot flashes, cycle is irregular, and a general sense of just not feeling like yourself anymore. So when I hear women say they were fine until perimenopause or menopause, it usually means their stress response system has been compensating for years. The drop in ovarian hormones basically just revealed that adrenal imbalance that was already there. This is one of the reasons I talk so much about the stress response. If your nervous system and adrenals have been running in overdrive, your body isn't going to be able to regulate those hormones well. Even before hormone levels start to drop, you're going to start seeing those signs that things are off, especially with progesterone. That one tends to dip earlier. And since progesterone is naturally calming, its loss ramps up nervous system activity, more anxiety, more sleep troubles, more sensitivity overall. Estrogen becomes harder to manage too. One, because as the levels are changing, and two, because the body's response to estrogen changes under chronic stress are different. The same amount of hormones can start acting differently in the system. Receptors can actually become more sensitive or more resistant depending on how dysregulated your nervous system is. That's why some women start feeling estrogen-dominant symptoms, bloating, breast tenderness, irritability, even if their estrogen is actually technically declining. There's also a connection between estrogen and histamine. Estrogen increases histamine release and also downregulates the enzyme that breaks histamine down. So in perimenopause, especially if that progesterone is also low and estrogen becomes less balanced, histamine-related symptoms can actually get worse. Flushing and skin issues, heart palpitations, digestive discomfort, migraine. These aren't just hormone problems, right? They're stress physiology showing up through those hormonal pathways. It's important to understand that your ovaries and your adrenals, they're designed to work together. During reproductive years, the ovaries do most of the work for women, although the adrenals are still responsible for most of the testosterone. But when the ovaries slow down with age, the adrenals really need to step in. And if the adrenals are already depleted, they can't fill that gap. And that's why that transition into menopause, it can feel like you're falling off a cliff instead of a gradual slope. The deeper solution is to rebuild the system that regulates those hormone levels in the first place. Not to pump yourself up full of synthetic or even bioidentical hormones to replace what's deficient. When we support the adrenals, reduce the stress, reduce the signals coming from the brain, calm the nervous system, the hormones normalize. I'm not against bioidentical hormone replacement at all, but the real fix is at a deeper level. If the answer to your issue is just replacing those hormones, you'd be better by now. Fixing it all at a deeper level is likely what you're missing. And you might be on birth control or bioidentical hormones to artificially prop up your ovaries, and these treatments are fine to take care of some of the symptoms, but at a temporary level. The real fix is what I mentioned before. Balance the stress response system, calm the nerves, slow life down, get much needed me time. Rethink your priorities so your life isn't overwhelming your capacity to live it. Those are pieces of the puzzle. Now, supplements help too. And some supplements that target the adrenals and the ovaries together, which I often will use with patients in my program. So adrenal precursor hormones like pregnenolone, maybe DHEA, those are a good place to start. They're safe, effective when used with respect and intent, and with the purpose towards supporting and healing your overall physiology.